Hello, beautiful people. How are you guys doing? Hope you guys are doing super good. This is your friend Ashish. And guys, Ashish welcomes you to the most amazing, to the most comprehensive, to the most advanced lesson on prepositions. I'm not just promising, I'm gonna deliver. Today we will learn all the important prepositions in English. I'll make it very, very simple for you guys to understand. So I want you to relax, sit back, grab a cup of coffee or tea or whatever you guys like and enjoy the lesson. I'm really excited, man. Hope you're too. Let's do this. Alright guys, let us talk about the first one, for. So we use for to talk about the purpose or the reason of an action. Simple, when you want to talk about why something happens or happened or will happen in the future, the purpose or the reason of that action, simply use for and introduce that reason or purpose. Let's look at these examples. I baked a cake for our anniversary. I baked a cake. Why did I do it? For, now the purpose is gonna come, our anniversary. I baked a cake for our anniversary. We need to do shopping for his wedding. We need to do shopping for his wedding, talking about the purpose of this action. Why do we have to do shopping? For his wedding. Simple, for is introducing the reason, the purpose why an action takes place. Third example, he built the hall for storing the goods. He built the hall for what purpose? For storing the goods. See, it's very simple. Whenever you want to talk about the reason or the purpose of an action, simply use for and introduce the purpose, right? Now, the sentence doesn't have to have an action to use for. It can simply be a state of being. For example, we are sorry for your loss, or I am sad for your loss, or I am happy for your achievements, right? So here in these examples, we don't have an action going on. We don't, right? So these are just state of being. The person is in, I am sad, I am happy. Now why I am sad, why I am happy? For your loss, for your achievements. Understood? So it doesn't have to be an action. It can simply be a state of being, and you can talk about the reason for that state of being using for. Usage number 1. Usage number 2, to indicate whom something is done for. Let us look at these examples. I bought a car for my mother. I bought a car for my mother. So I did this, I bought this car, I did this action. Now, whom did I do this action for? That's my mother. She is the beneficiary of this action. She is going to use the car. She is going to enjoy the car, right? She is the reason why I did what I did. Why I bought the car, she is going to enjoy it. I cooked pasta for my friend. I cooked pasta for my friend. He is going to that lame party for you. He is going to that lame party for you, just because of you. Only for you. He wouldn't be going to that party. He's doing that just for you. You are the reason behind this action. He's doing it for you. So that's usage number 2. Usage number 3, to indicate the price of something. Alright, very, very simple. When you want to talk about the price of a thing, of an object, simply use for that. He is selling his bike for $500. He is selling his bike for the exchange of $500. You give him the money, he'll give you the bike. How much do you charge for your private classes? How much do you charge for your private classes? Talking about the price, asking about the price of your private classes. The UFC was bought for $5 billion. The UFC was bought for $5 million, talking about the exchanging price. So that's usage number 3. Now guys, one thing to note here is that we can also use at to talk about the price of an item. Usage number 4, to indicate what or whom someone is employed by. Alright, to indicate what or whom somebody is employed by. For example, my brother is working for a US based company. My brother is working for a US based company. That means that company employs him. He is employed by that company. He is working for an NGO. Simple, to indicate whom or what someone is employed by. So that is usage number 4, guys. Usage number 5, we also use for to talk about time duration. right? How long something has been happening or had been in the past. Examples: I have been teaching English for 5 years. For 5 years. 5 years, guys, is a period of time. That means the action started taking place 5 years back and it is still happening. Talking about the period of time, it's been going on for 5 years, right? We have known each other for 10 years. We have known each other for 10 years. She is going to live with us for 3 months. She is going to live with us for the time duration 3 months. So we also use for to talk about time durations. One more interesting way to use for is to describe somebody with a sense of astonishment, with a sense of surprise. For example, he is extremely smart for a child. He is extremely smart for a child. That means for a child that he is very smart. So guys, for here is drawing a contrast, right? Like he's a child, and even after being a child, he is extremely smart. Like he is extremely smart for a child. He should not be as smart as he is for a child, right? She looks muscular for a girl. She looks muscular for a girl. So guys, that is how we use for as a preposition. Now, you need to remember it can also be used as a conjunction. Look at these two examples. I cannot come with you for I am busy. For I am busy is a dependent clause starting with the conjunction for. For means here because. I cannot come with you for because I am busy. Alright, here it's not working as a preposition, it's working as a conjunction. He did not go to the class yesterday for he was feeling blue, because since he was feeling blue, it's not a preposition here either. It's a conjunction. So you need to be very careful with it. If after for comes a sentence, in that case it will be a conjunction. If after for we have a noun or a noun phrase, it will be a preposition in that case. Next preposition, since. Since is a very simple preposition, guys. It is used to talk about the starting point of an action as a preposition. I have been teaching English since 2015. I have been teaching English since the starting point of the action, which is 2015. I have been teaching English since 2015. We have known each other since our childhood, right? So that's how we use since. Very, very simple when you want to talk about the starting point of an action, the action that started in the past and still going on in the present or has stopped just now. Use since to talk about the starting point of that action. Understood? And it can also be used as a conjunction, right? When it is used as a conjunction, it gives the reason for an action. For example, we don't hang out with him since he is a fraud. We do not hang out with him. Why? Since he is a fraud. Since he is a fraud is a dependent clause. Since is a coordinating conjunction here. It's not a preposition. Alright, let me give you a test. So on your screen are two examples. You have to tell me which example has a preposition. Write in the comment section below. Pause the video right now and write in the comment section below. Alright, I hope you've done it. Now guys, both these sentences do not have a preposition. These sentences have conjunctions. Both for and since are conjunctions here, not prepositions. Alright, let's talk about the next preposition, over. Guys, over also has a couple of usages. Usage number one, to indicate a movement or a position at a higher level than something else, right? When you want to say something is at the higher level, is placed at a higher position than something else, or is moving at a higher position at a higher location than something else, you can simply use over to talk about that. Let me show you some examples. The plane is flying over the clouds, right? The plane is flying over the clouds, right? It is at a higher position, it is at a higher location than the clouds, and that is why we are using over. The plane is flying over the clouds. Look at the birds flying over the lake. Look at the birds flying over the lake. Over the lake. The birds are at a higher position, flying over the lake. You are not feeling hot since you have an umbrella over your head. You're not feeling hot. Why? Since you have an umbrella over your head, right? Now guys, one thing you need to understand here, it is not necessary that you need to have some space between two objects. The object that is over something else might be touching the first object as well. It does not matter. The important point is it is over the first thing. It is over at a higher position than the first one. Here the umbrella might be touching my head as well, but it does not matter. Still, it is at a higher position, at a higher level. Right? That is usage number 1. Usage number 2. You can also use over when something is touching or covering the other thing. For example, he has mud all over his body. He has mud all over his body. I cannot sleep putting a blanket over me. See? I cannot sleep putting a blanket over me on the top of me. My body is touching the blanket. The blanket is over me. It is at the higher location. Do not forget about the higher location. It is always going to be at a higher location, at a higher place. But here it is going to be covering the thing or touching that thing. I need you to rub this cream. I need you to rub this cream all over my neck. Understood? So that's usage number 2. Usage number 3 is very simple. Here over means more than. I receive over 100 messages per day. I receive over 100 messages per day. They won't take you in if you weigh over 160 pounds. They won't take you in if you weigh over 160 pounds. That's usage number 3. Usage number 4, over can be used to indicate a movement from one side of something to another. For example, let's go over the road and see what's happening. Could you please move over there? Right? From the one side of a surface to the other side of that surface. Understood? Now one thing you have to remember, if it is not followed by a noun, it might be working as an adverb. Let me show you an example. Would you like to come over and have a drink together? Would you like to come over and have a drink together? So after this word over, we don't have a noun. It's working as an adverb here, talking about the place. Come over, working as an adverb. And not only can it work as an adverb, but also it can work as an adjective. Let me show you how. The game is over. Over here, my friend, is an adjective. The game is over. That means it is finished. Right? So that's how we use over. Let us talk about the next preposition, above. Guys, above has quite similar usages to the preposition over, but it is used in some different situations as well. Let us master this one as well. Usage number 1, to indicate a higher location, that we also can use over for, right? The clouds are above your head. Looks like they're following you. The clouds are above your head at a higher location, indicating the location of the clouds higher than your head, right? The clouds are above your head. We can also use over here. The clouds are over your head. There is no difference at all. We hung the clock above the door. We hung the clock above the door. The plane is flying above the clouds. The plane is flying above the clouds. We can also say the plane is flying over the clouds. Now what is the difference? Guys, though these two sentences mean the same thing, but there is a difference. Above is simply used to talk about the location of something that's at the higher position. It does not talk about the movement. To talk about the movement of something that is happening at a higher location than something else, we use over generally. Though a lot of grammarians believe that above and over both can be used to talk about the movement of an object that is at a higher place. So if I want to talk about the movement of the place and its location, I will use over. The plane is flying over the clouds. If I simply want to talk about its location that is above my head, not focusing on the movement, I will simply use above, not over. The plane is above my head. So that's usage number 1. Usage number 2, to indicate a higher number. The temperature is above 45 degrees Celsius. The temperature is above 45 degrees Celsius. We do not take students above the age of 18. Usage number 3, guys, to show higher authority or higher rank. We respect our country above anything. We respect our country above anything. A college teacher ranks above a school teacher. That's not me saying it, just an example. A college teacher ranks above, higher than a school teacher. That means his job is more superior, right? Let me show you one more example. I rate yoga above any other physical exercise. I rate yoga above any other physical exercise. You are not above the law. You are not above the law, right? So that is also how we use above. Now guys, please understand when we not use above. When something is touching the other thing or is covering the other thing, do not use above with it, use over. He was feeling cold, so I put a blanket over him, not a blanket above him. That would be incorrect, right? Because the blanket is touching that person, is covering that person. And to talk about that, to indicate that, we will use over, not above. So that is something that you should know. So that is the difference you should note. Alright, let us talk about the next preposition. Under. Under is a very common preposition, guys. It is used to talk about the location of an object. It has multiple usages. Let us master all these usages. Number 1, to indicate a person or a thing is below or beneath something else. Let me show you some examples. Jimmy is hiding under the table. You can see the table, you can see Jimmy. Jimmy is hiding under the table, beneath the table or underneath the table, right? Jimmy is hiding under the table. I found the keys under the bed. I found the keys under the bed. We can also use underneath or beneath. Beneath the bed or underneath the bed. Usage number 2, to indicate something or someone is covered by something else, by an object. Let me show you some examples. My wallet was under the pile of clothes. It was under, beneath the pile of clothes. Did you place my phone under the book? Did you place my phone where? Under the book. My phone is under the book and the book is covering it. Alright? We slided under the bed so that our mother could not find us. Slided under the bed. The bed was covering us. We slided under the bed. Alright, so that is the second way to use under. Third way to use it is to indicate less than. It is used before a number or a quantity. Let me show you some examples. You cannot drive as you are under 18. If you are under 18, you cannot drive legally, actually, right? You cannot drive as you are under 18, less than 18. His annual income is under 10 lakhs, less than this number, right? So very simple, you can use under to talk about a number. Next usage to indicate the control that somebody has. Let's look at these examples. The situation is under control now. Your act is punishable under the company's policy. Your act is punishable under the company's policy. I have 500 people working under me, indicating a superior relationship. I control them. I have 500 people working under me. Another way to use it is to indicate what something or someone is affected by. Let's look at these examples. He is under a lot of pressure. He is under a lot of pressure. That means he is affected by the pressure. I have been under a lot of stress lately. I have been under a lot of stress lately, indicating what I have been affected by lately. Let us talk about the next preposition, below. Usage number 1, to indicate a lower position or place. Very, very simple, to indicate a position or a place that is lower than something else. Examples. We are 800 feet below the sea level. We are 800 feet below the sea level, right? He is sitting below the window. He is sitting below the window. I can also use under here. He is sitting under the window, right? So that's usage number 1. Uses number 2, it also indicates less than an amount or a number or a degree or simply a standard. Let me show you some examples. The temperature right now is below 0 degrees Celsius. Below 0 degree Celsius. Below a particular number. His performance was below average in the last match. It was less than what he usually performs, right? My father will not accept below 90% marks in the final exam. My father will not accept below 90% marks in the final example, below a particular number. So guys, below and under have similar usages. But guys, when the objects are touching each other, do not use below, simply use under. For example, I am wearing a shirt under the coat. I am wearing a shirt or a sweatshirt under the coat. Now the shirt is going to touch the coat. And since it is touching the coat, I will only use under, I will not use below. When you use below, there is some difference. The objects are not going to touch each other. That is something you should always remember. Alright? And guys, beneath and underneath can also be used in place of under. The only difference is these words are quite formal. So you might not want to use them. These are very formal words. So generally we use under. If you want to use beneath, if you want to be more formal, you can use beneath or underneath, right? So that's how we use below. Let's talk about the next preposition, inside. Alright, so we use inside to indicate something is within a space covered by boundaries around it. Guys, inside is very similar to the preposition in. It can be used in place of in as well. Let me show you some examples. I have a special letter inside this box. I do have a special letter inside this box that I'm not going to talk about. I have a special letter inside this box, inside the boundaries of this box. Okay? You are safe inside your house. You are safe inside your house. I can also use in here. You are safe in your house. I can also say that. We are playing inside the pool. We are playing inside the pool or in the pool. There is no difference at all. Right? Now, one more way to use inside is when you're moving or looking inside a place. Example, you're not allowed to go inside the building. You need to have an entry pass for that. You're not allowed to go inside the building. You need to have an entry pass for that. Right? Now guys, interesting thing is it can also be used as an adverb and it can also be used as a noun. What are you talking about, Ashish? Yes, it can. Let me show you how. Something you need to understand. He opened my box and looked inside. He opened my box and looked inside. It's not working as a preposition here. It's working as an adverb because a preposition is always followed by a noun. And here we don't have a noun. It's ending with this word inside. It's working as an adverb modifying the verb looked. Looked where? Inside. It can also work as a noun. The inside of my house is beautiful. The inside of my house is beautiful. Now, is my house beautiful? No. The inside of my house is beautiful. Inside is working as a noun here. Is the main hat, is the main subject, alright? So that's inside. Let's talk about the next preposition. Outside. It means not within the boundaries of a space but very close to it or near that space. Let me show you some examples. Please leave the shoes outside the room. Please leave the shoes outside the room, outside the boundaries of the room. Alright? But very close to it. It's not like you are going to walk 10 miles to leave your shoes. You gotta leave it right outside the room, okay? Nobody knows you outside this area. Nobody knows you outside this area anywhere except this area. We are going to play a lot of matches outside India. We are going to play a lot of matches outside India. Outside this particular location, we are going to play a lot of matches. Like the preposition inside, it can also work as an adverb and also a noun. Let us move to the next preposition, between. Guys, between is used for two things. To show a comparison or to draw a distinction between two objects, between two people, between two things, between two places, between two entities. Let's look at these examples. I cannot choose between tea and coffee. I cannot choose between tea and coffee because I like them both. So that's the first way to use it. You can also use between to indicate a location in the middle of two distinct things. In the middle of two distinct things. For example, he sat down between Ria and me. He sat down between Ria and me, as you can see. There is a wall between his house and mine. There is a wall between his house and my house. In between our houses, there is a wall. So that is the second way to use it. Now guys, one more thing. We have a very common misconception, a very common myth that between is not used for more than two items, for more than two entities. And that is just a myth. That is not true at all. You can use between even when you're referring to more than two entities, right? But you have to remember those entities, those nouns, those pronouns need to be distinct. Let's look at these examples. The truce between India, China and Pakistan seems to be ending. The truce, a document of peace between India, China and Pakistan, all are different countries, separate countries, seems to be ending. I had to choose between a bike, a PlayStation, an iPhone and a trip to Bali for my birthday. So here we have 4 items. It does not matter guys, as long as the list, as long as the items or entities are distinct, just go ahead, use between. Alright, let me show you one more example. Do you know why B comes between A and C? Simple, because it's very cool out there. Got the joke? Okay, so that's how we use between. Let's talk about the next preposition, among. Among is used for more than 2 items. I cannot live among these people. I cannot live among these people, with these people, in the middle of these people, surrounded by people. Among shows a relation between 2 objects where one is a part of a group or a crowd, right? Or is surrounded by that crowd or is in the middle of that crowd. Let's take more examples. Before taking the final call, discuss it among yourself. Do not be in hurry. Before you take the final call, discuss it among yourselves. Among yourselves within the group. Alright? I cannot decide among these cars. I cannot decide among these cars. That's one way to use it. Another way to use it is to indicate each member of a group which consists of 3 or more people. For example, his father equally divided his property among his 4 sons. Among his 4 sons, the property equally goes to everyone, referring to his each son. We will share the cost among all of us. We will share the cost among all of us. Everybody will bear the cost. Simple, that's how we use among. Let's talk about the next preposition, after. After is a very simple preposition. Usage number 1 to refer to a time or action or event or anything else that has gone, that has passed. Alright, let us look at some examples. We are talking to each other after 2 years. We are talking to each other after 2 years. He made his transition to wrestling after 2015. So after this point of time, which is 2015, he made his transition to wrestling. Alright, I went shopping after dinner. I went shopping after dinner. Right? So that is one way to use after. Another way is to give the same name to someone. When you want to give the same name as you have or somebody else have to somebody else, you can use after to show the relation. Tyson Fury is named after Mike Tyson. Tyson Fury is named after Mike Tyson. Alright? He has got a stadium named after him. He has got a stadium named after him. Alright? So we can also use after to give the same name to somebody else. Third way to use it is to show order. You can go after me. You can go after me. First I go, then you go. Showing an order. B comes after A. Not a hard science. B comes after A. First A comes, then comes B. Alright? Another way to use after is to indicate somebody is trying to achieve something, somebody wants to get something, alright? For example, he's only after your property, he's not interested in you. That means he only wants to get your property, he is not interested in you. Please hide me somewhere, the police is after me. Please hide me somewhere, the police is after me. That means the police is chasing me. The police is trying to catch me, alright? So that's also how we use after. Let's talk about the next preposition, before. Guys, before is used to refer to a time which is earlier than a particular time, or can be an event or an action. For example, you can call me before 11 p.m. You can call me before 11 p.m. talking about a particular time, indicating a particular time. Let's go for a walk before dinner. Let's go for a walk before dinner. But if I say before we eat dinner, in that case, it will not be a preposition, it will be a conjunction. So your preposition should not be followed by a complete sentence. If that does it, it will be a conjunction, not a preposition. Alright? Let me show you one more example. She came to see me before the wedding. She came to see me before the wedding. Before a particular event, she did something, she came to see me. One more way to use before is to indicate in front of. It means in front of, okay? For examples, you need to bow down before the king. You need to bow down before the king. In front of the king, you need to bow down. I love the girl standing before me. You see that? I love the girl standing before me, standing in front of me. So that's how we use before. Remember, it can also be used as an adverb when it does not have a noun after it. For example, that was the very first time you saw me, right? No, I'd already seen you before. I had already seen you before. Here it's working as an adverb, not a preposition. Alright, that's before, guys. Let's talk about the next preposition, behind. Behind is used to indicate that something or somebody is after an object or after a person. Alright, for examples, we are hiding behind the curtains. We are hiding behind the curtains. Rahul is standing behind me in the queue. Rahul is standing behind me. Alright, that's a very common usage of behind. We've got a couple of more usages of behind. Number 2, to indicate the reason or cause for something. To indicate the reason or cause for something. For example, some people from Meerut are behind the riots happened last month. Some people from Meerut are behind the riots happened last month. That means they are the reason, they have something to do with this. Alright? I know you are behind my termination. I know you are behind my termination. That means you have something to do with it. You are the reason why it happened. I got terminated because of you. Understood? That's one more way to use it. Other way to use behind is to show support. To show support. Finish the fight, we are right behind you. Finish the fight, we are right behind you. That means we got your back, we support you. When I needed their help, they all rallied behind me. When I needed their help, they all rallied behind me. That means they all came in to support me. So it is very simple. We also use behind to show support. One more usage, guys. We can also use behind to talk about the state of a match or an event to show that somebody is behind. Somebody is losing the match or losing the event. Our team is behind 4 points. Our team is behind 4 points. The VJP is behind 20,000 votes in the polls. Alright, that's one more way to use it. Guys, if a failure or a bad experience is behind you, that simply means you have put it behind you. It no longer bothers you. Alright? For example, all my insecurities are behind me. That means they do not affect me anymore. Let's put our past behind us and be friends. Let's put our past behind us. That means let's not get affected by it anymore. Okay, so that's also how we use behind. You can also use it as an adverb as well. I stayed behind to see what was going on. I stayed behind. No, we don't have a noun after it. It's simply modifying the verb. I stayed behind, talking about its location. I stayed behind to see what was going on. So that's how we use behind, my friend. Let's talk about the next preposition, along. Along indicates a movement on a surface, on a road, on a street, or on a plain line from one point to another in the same direction. Very simple. It indicates a movement in a particular direction on a surface, on a road, or on a street, or on a lane, or maybe on a straight line. Let me give you some examples. Keep walking along the road for a mile, you will find the mall. Keep walking along the road, on the same road in a particular direction. Keep walking, you will find the mall. On the same road in a particular direction. I am dreaming of a walk along the beach with her. I am dreaming of a walk along the beach with her. So guys, it basically indicates a movement on a plane surface or a line. It sometimes indicates a movement close to a surface, close to an object, straight in a line. Let me show you some examples. Don't you worry, many cars are parked along this road. Don't you worry, many cars are parked along this road in a straight line close to this road. You will find many shops along the main market. Along the main market, you will find many shops. Along the main market, close to the main market, you will find many shops. Let's go for a walk along the river. Let's go for a walk along the river. Next to the river, close to the river, let's go for a walk. So that is how we use along, guys. It has one more usage. It can mean together. In a sentence, it can give the meaning of together. Let me show you some examples. Come along with us, you'll get bored here. Come along with us, you will get bored here. Come along means come together with us, you will get bored here. Can I come along with you guys? I have nothing to do. Can I come along with you guys? Can I come together with you guys? I have nothing to do, right? But when it does not have a noun after it or a noun phrase after it, it acts like an adverb. For example, can I bring my friend along? Can I bring my friend along? Here it's working as an adverb, not a preposition. So that is something you guys have to look for, whether it has a noun after it or not. That's something you gotta look for. Alright, so that's how we use along. And guys, one more thing, if you want to give the meaning of close to or next to, you can use the preposition alongside. Let me show you how. You can park your car alongside my house. You can park your car alongside my house. That means next to my house, very close to my house or near to my house. Alongside gives the meaning of next to or close to or near to, right? He stood alongside the tree to take some rest. He stood alongside the tree, close to the tree, next to the tree to take some rest. She is walking alongside me. She is walking alongside me. That means next to me, close to me, right? So that's how we use alongside. We can also use alongside by giving the meaning together with someone. Let me show you an example. She wants to work alongside me to learn my techniques. She wants to work alongside me. That means together with me on a same project, in the same office, in the same cubicle. She wants to work alongside me to learn my techniques, right? That is also how we can use the word alongside, giving the meaning of working with somebody. All right, let's look at the next preposition, across. Guys, across is used to indicate a movement from one side to the opposite or the other side of a place or a space or a line. One side of something to the another side. A movement from one side to the another. Let me show you some examples that will help you to understand the meaning of this word. Let's walk across the road and see what's happening. Let's walk across the road. From one side of the road to the other side of the road, there is a movement. The movement of walking from one side of the road to the other, and that's why we're using across. Let's walk across the road and see what's happening. They are building a huge bridge across the river. Building a huge bridge across the river. From one side of the river to the other side of the river, they are building a bridge. It also means on the other side of something. Not a movement, just on the other side of something. Let me show you some examples. I have a house across the river. I have a house across the river. That means on the opposite side of the river. On the other side of the river, I have a house. There is a petrol pump across the road. On the other side of the road, on the opposite side of the road, there is a petrol pump. So it also means on the opposite side, not a movement, just to show on the opposite side. And sometimes we use this word to give the meaning of in many parts of an area, of a place. Let me show you an example. We have several offices across the city. We have several offices across the city. That means in many parts of the city, we have several offices. Let me show you one more example. He's running his business across the country. He's running his business across the country. That means in many parts of the countries, he is running his business in. Right? So that is how we use the preposition across. Let's talk about the next preposition, through. Guys, through is used to indicate a movement that happens from one side of an object to the other. And when the movement happens, it always happens through an opening, through a hole, through a pass, through anything that has a space in it. The water is coming through the roof. The water is coming through the roof. He walked through the woods to get to his place quickly. He walked through the woods to get to his place quickly. Now guys, why am I using walked through the woods? Why am I not saying in the woods? Because around the woods there's a lot of blockages. If the space is completely empty, there is no blockage, you will not use the word through. There has to be some blockage around it. You pass through a gate and around the gate you have a wall. It's not completely open, right? So you have to understand where exactly we use this word through, right? We walk through a tunnel, right? Anything that has some space in it. Okay, let's take one more example. He ran through the crowd to the stage. He ran through the crowd to the stage. Again, when you have a crowd, it has a lot of blockages and it has some spaces as well. So you can go through it, right? Let's look at one more example. He is looking or peeping through the window. He is looking or peeping through the window. There is some space you can look through, you can walk through, you can peek through, right? If it is a wall, can I walk through it? Can I see through it? I cannot. I cannot see through a wall. I cannot walk through a wall. There has to be some space. There has to be some gap. So I hope you've understood how to use this preposition through. Let's talk about the next preposition, beside. Guys, beside simply means next to or close to or at the side of something. Okay, let me show you some examples that will help you to understand it. He was standing beside me when the police came. He was standing beside me, next to me, close to me when the police came. I wish your house were beside mine. I wish your house were beside mine. Your house were beside mine, next to me, close to me. In school, they used to sit beside each other. In school, they used to sit close to each other, beside each other, next to each other. Got it? That's how we use beside. And we can also use next to in place of beside to give the same meaning. He was standing next to me when the police came. I wish your house were next to mine. In school, they used to sit next to each other. Alright? Let's talk about besides now. A lot of people use them interchangeably. You cannot. There is a difference. Let's understand it. Besides, guys, mean in addition to or as well as or except for. Let me show you some examples and make you understand. He is not willing to talk to anyone besides you. You're the only person he wants to talk to, willing to talk to, apart from you, except you. He's not willing to talk to anybody. See, it's very different from beside. Let me show you one more example. Would you like to eat anything besides a burger? Besides a burger, apart from burger, would you like to eat anything? See, that's how we use besides, apart from, in addition to. Guys, it is also used as an adverb. When it works as an adverb, it means moreover, additionally, right? Let me show you an example that will help you to understand the meaning. My father asked me not to marry her. Besides, I never liked her. Oh, that's not very nice of me, just making a story. My father asked me not to marry her. Besides, moreover, I never liked her. See, it's working as an adverb, connecting these two sentences. Actually, it's working as a connector here, right? A connective adverb, if I will. Let me show you an example using both beside and besides. She just sat beside me. Besides, nothing happened. She just sat beside me, close to me, next to me. Besides, moreover, nothing happened. Don't run your imagination, nothing happened. Okay, so that's how we use the words beside and besides. Let's talk about the next preposition, up. Up is used to indicate a higher position or a higher place, right? It can simply be a position or a movement of an object from a lower to a higher place or position. We need to walk up the stairs to get to the temple. We need to walk up the stairs to get to the temple. Talking about a movement from a lower place to the upper place, and we need to walk up the stairs. She looks up at the sky every morning. She looks up at the sky every morning. Talking about a movement from down to up. Could you help me carry the furniture up to my apartment? Could you help me carry the furniture up to my apartment? A movement from a lower to a higher place. Let's climb up the mountain and have a cup of tea at the top. Let's climb up the mountain. Again, talking about a position, a higher position. Let's climb up the mountain and have a cup of tea at the top. Okay? Guys, we also use up to talk about a movement in a particular direction along a road, right? Let me show you some examples and make you understand. He has walked 5 miles up the road to find his old dog. He has walked 5 miles up the road, along the road in a particular direction on the road to find his dog. We can also use down here. That would also give the same meaning. We can walk up the road, down the road. If the road has a slope, an upward slope, in that case we will specifically use up the road. If the road has a slope, a downward slope, in that case we will use down the road. The new bar is up the main street from the mall. The new bar is up the main street from the mall. We can also use down the main street. That would also be correct. So it means it is near the mall on the main street, right? And up can also work as an adjective, meaning ready or awake. Let me show you some examples. Everyone's up for this. Everyone is up for this. Let's do it. Everyone is ready for this. Let's do it. So here up is working as an adjective, meaning ready. Everyone is ready for this. I was up till midnight playing Ludo. That means I was awake till midnight playing Ludo. And it can also work as an adverb when it does not have a noun after it. For example, he stood up and left. He stood up and left. She picked him up and started crying. She picked him up and started crying. Right? So that's how we use up. Let's talk about the next preposition, down. Guys, down is opposite to the preposition up. It indicates a lower location. It indicates a movement happening at a lower location. Alright? Let me show you some examples. Tears rolled down my cheeks when that scene came. Tears rolled down my cheeks from the eyes down to my cheeks when that scene came. He got down on his knees and said sorry. He got down on his knees and said sorry. Got down, a movement from an upper place to a lower place. He got down on his knees, as you can see, and said sorry, as most of the husbands do. Alright, next example. Put the phone down on the bed. Put the phone down on the bed. Down on the bed, a downward movement. Climb down the tree and get ready for your school. Climb down the tree, a movement from an upper place to a lower place. Climb down the tree and get ready for your school. Right, so that's how we use down, usage number 1. We can also use it to show a movement that's happening along a road in a particular direction. For example, I was walking down the street alone last night. I was walking down the street going in a particular direction last night. Right, so it basically means to travel on the same road, along the same road in a direction away from you. Right? And when the place has a downward slope, it is best to use down, right? It will actually give the literal meaning that you are actually going down, right? So that's how we use the preposition down. Next preposition, against. Guys, against is used to show opposition to someone or something. Let me show you some examples. I am against death penalty. So this is something, death penalty is something that I am against, I oppose, I don't support, right? They are running a campaign against the current government. They are running a campaign against, to oppose the current government. India is playing against Pakistan in the World Cup final. India is playing against Pakistan, playing to beat Pakistan. Not on the same side, on the other side, on the opposition side to beat Pakistan. And it's a hell of a game when it happens. Alright, next example. My best friend has turned against me. When someone or something turns against you, it basically starts getting hostile towards you, stops supporting you, right? One more example. And guys, if something or someone is leaning against an object, they are in touch with each other. For example, the teacher told him to lean against the wall. Lean against the wall. That means close to the wall, touching each other, right? I placed the board against the wall, as you can see. Against the wall, touching the wall. That's how we use the preposition against. Let's talk about the next preposition, about. Guys, about is used to indicate a connection between two objects. It means on the subject of or related to, right? It basically tells you what you're talking about. What is it related to, or whom is it related to? Let me show you some examples. I don't know anything about chess. Yes, I do not know anything about chess. In related to chess, I have no idea about it. Our parents are always worried about our future. And guys, that is so true. They always are, and we should never disappoint them. More examples. He does not tell me anything about his problems. He does not tell me anything about his problems, anything related to his problems. Don't ask me about my love life. Do not, because I'm not going to tell you anything, because I don't have a love life. Right? So that's how we use about. Very, very simple when you want to show a relation between two objects and you want to make it clear what you're talking about. Alright guys, next preposition, of. Of is used to indicate what something or somebody belongs to or related to. Very, very simple. Let us take some examples that will help us to understand how to use it. Example number 1. Some parts of the movie were disturbing. Some parts of the movie belonging to the movie were disturbing. He is a member of our family. He is a member of our family. He's a member of our family, belonging to our family. Okay? You are a part of our family. You are a part of our family, belonging to our family. Okay? I love the people of my country. I love the people of my country, belonging to my country. He is a friend of mine. He is a friend of mine. We can also say he is my friend, which is actually a more common sentence, and you should probably go with this one. But we can also say he's a friend of mine. Okay? She is a friend of Rahul. We can also say she is Rahul's friend. It is a story of my struggles. It's a story of my struggles, related to my struggles, talking about my struggles. Okay? That's usage number 1. Usage number 2, to show a time or place reference. Examples. Do you have any pictures of your childhood? Any pictures of your childhood belonging to your childhood, referring back to a particular time. Okay? Any pictures of your childhood. The first day of my first job was epic. The first day of my first job, going back to a particular time. The first day of my first job was epic. Have you been to the southern part of India? Southern part of India, referring to a particular place. His birthday is on the 4th of May. 4th of May. Again, referring to a particular day. So that's the second way to use it. Guys, we have some adjectives in English that are generally followed by this preposition of. Adjectives like kind, proud, sweet, scared, afraid. Examples. It is very kind of him to help me. Very kind of him, right? Who am I talking about? Of is referring to him. It is very kind of him. Okay? I am proud of you. I am proud of you. Okay? That's very sweet of you. That's very sweet of you. We also use of after the phrasal verb take care. Take care of something or somebody. You always take care of something or somebody. I will take care of your pet. I will take care of your girlfriend. No, I won't. Okay, so we also use of after scared and afraid. You're always scared of or afraid of something or somebody. Like I am scared of dogs, or I am scared or I am afraid of dogs. I've seen some people using from after it, which is absolutely incorrect. Never do that. You always are scared or afraid of something or somebody, not from. Okay. And guys, we have a couple of verbs that are followed by the preposition of. Words like some, many, a few, several, one. And when we use them, we basically indicate something is a part of the entire group. Okay. For example, one of the students will be selected for the job. One of the students, one belonging to a particular group of students, will be selected for the job. I can also say some of the students, a few of the students, a couple of the students, none of the students. So these are the words that we use of after. It's very, very common. You use them, you see them all the time, right? So that's one more way to use it. So that's how we use the preposition of. Let's talk about the next preposition, of. Guys, OFF is pronounced as of, whereas OF is pronounced as of. Okay, so that's something you should note. Now let us talk about how to use it. Guys, of is actually opposite to the preposition on, right? And it indicates a disconnection of an object from another. Very, very simple. On shows the connection of an object with something else, and off basically shows a disconnection. Let me show you some examples that will help you to understand it. He is cleaning the dirt off the wall. He is cleaning the dirt off the wall. Removing the dirt off the wall. Get off the bus. Guys, you get on the bus, you come in its touch. When you get on the bus, you come in its touch. When you get off the bus, you leave. You go away from it, right? They are cutting all the dry branches of the tree. Now the dry branches are not a part of the tree. The connection is lost. I cannot take my eyes off you. I cannot take my eyes off you. That means I cannot stop looking at you. Eyes on you, eyes off you. Getting the point? One more example. He has been off drugs for some months. That means he's not been using drugs. He has been away from them for some months. Getting it? That's how we use this preposition of, guys. It's very, very simple. Absolutely opposite to the preposition on, right? Like when the electricity is on, the fluctuation, the power is going on, the connection is on. When the light is off, the power is off, the connection is gone, right? Very, very simple. Now guys, I really want to tell you this, that no book, no video can actually help you master all the prepositions 100% accurately. If you really want to know how to use prepositions in all the possible ways, I suggest start listening to the language. Get into the language, start listening to the language as much as you can. That'll actually help you to understand the language, understand all the context that words, that prepositions are used in. And that is the ultimate way to master a language, guys. So that is about today's lesson, guys. I hope you loved it. I hope you liked it. If you did, hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and make sure you press the bell icon for upcoming videos, right? So that you get notified. And if you guys have any questions, any doubts, do let me know in the comment section below. You can message me on my Instagram page, on my Facebook page. The links of these two platforms are in the description. And guys, your job is to share this video with your friends, with the people you know, right? And I'll see you guys very soon. Till then, keep learning, have fun. I love you all. Bye-bye.